Welcome to selfdiscoverymedia.com, where we discover the communities that are making a difference in the lives of others. Our self-discovery is something we are all making on our life's journey. Here you will find the people that will be your guidance, that will be your inspiration, that will be there for you in support on your journey of life. Do enjoy. Our next show is... Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody. Welcome back to another edition of An Author's Kiss right here on selfdiscoverymedia.com. I am your host, Sarah Troy, and my wonderful repeat guest. We have her back because she's so awesome and she writes such beautiful children's stories. And we're having her back again of Barrett, Clemmensen, Powell. We're having her back again, I think, for the fourth time. It's the reason why is because, as I said, she writes such incredible books, and she also has such a passion for life and a passion for helping people and a passion for really doing something that's really important in life. And that's what's important. The books are just wonderful. They're children's books, and it's an African-American little girl called Lori Leek. And Lori Leek has gone on so many adventures. Lori Leek went to Paris. I had a wonderful experience there. She went to Copenhagen. Today, we're going to be talking about her trip to San Diego. And soon she'll be going to DC, Washington, and maybe even meeting Kamala Harris. We don't know. But what we are looking at is Lori Leek and the experiences that she has through travel as an African-American kid. And all of these books are beautifully illustrated. They're wonderfully told. And, you know, the book that she's written this time, it takes a slightly different situation. It looks at the pandemic related. She discovers the polio pandemic, the Jonas Salk, and the racism in San Diego. You know, she's kind of dug deep and gone into what little Lori Leek will face in life. And this is a book for all little children of color out there, for all children, you know, never mind what color. But it's a story, though, of empowerment for our beautiful children of color, our Black children, of that. It's not only white kids that get the opportunities. It's not only white kids that get to travel and see the world. And there's so much to learn from Lori Leek and the experiences that she has. So let's dive right back in and let's have some fun. And I invite you to please go back and look at all the other shows that she's done with me because they are really exuberant. We did one on the Black Lives Matters recently, which was very powerful. And this is a woman of conviction. She's traveled the world herself and she loves what she does. Her main aim is she wants to have a big house with lots of foster children. And but her passion right now is bringing you these wonderful children through her books. So welcome back, Barrett.
Thank you so much, Sarah. I really, really appreciate being able to meet with you and those who take in your podcast. And I enjoy speaking with you. From doing it in the bathroom to
Yes, our first show, you were in Copenhagen in the bathroom because it's the only space that you could find.
Copenhagen in the bathroom. Yeah,
I mean that's been my one and only time. It's always been in the bathroom.
I'm here in the toilet. I'm holding the door shut with my foot.
And that shows when a story needs to be told. It doesn't matter where it's told from, right?
Yeah,
right.
That was where we could get the signal.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Oh, so
yeah.
I'm really happy to talk with you again and to get the word out about my newest upcoming book, Lori Leek Travels to San Diego. I told you there will be 50 of these books before I depart this life.
Right.
So now we are on number 3.
With
and
four
already in the works.
Yeah, 4 already in the works and 5 already planned. So you're right.
So, you know, and if listeners have any idea, if you want me to come and visit, she goes to a major city in anywhere in the world. You want me to come? Hey, send me, you know, your information. Tell me about it, and we'll see about getting Lori Leek there.
Yes, and having experience of that culture.
Story.
Yeah, and the beautiful thing is that you're seeing the culture and the excitement through Lori Leek's eyes. and a child's eyes, and I like the fact that in this one you're addressing the pandemic. I mean, this is not just it is a little blip in history when you look at history, but it's a significant time and a massive amount of change that is going on in the world because it's a global pandemic. It's changing the way we treat people. Who are the important people? Not the big Fortune 500 guys. It's the janitor, the guy that cleans the bathrooms, the people that are working on the forefront. Therefore, they're our heroes. They're the people that make the world go round. But also we are addressing a great deal of the racism. It's, again, come to a peak. What are we going to do with it this time? We cannot suppress it. We cannot hide it. We cannot delete it. It's here for us to address once and for all. And so to incorporate that in there as well is really, really important because this is affecting our children's lives. And so their story should be told.
Yes. In this book, basically, and it won't be very deep or very long, but with a child's view, children are very straightforward. Children
Yes.
don't have that filter. You only learn that filter as an adult, which is why I love writing Lori Leak, because she has no filter. Because then I can take off my filter and I can say through her voice, hey, did you know blah 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 blah, and this happened and that happened, and people are like, and that's not fair,
Right.
that's not right, that's not nice. So in this one, she does wonderful things, that I'll get to later. She does wonderful things, that lovely adventurous things, but she also learns that part of the history of San Diego, there's a neighborhood called La Jolla along the beach, which you probably see a lot in media. She learns that Jonas Salk, who made the polio vaccine, she discovers that he was asked by UCSD, University of California, San Diego. They wanted him to come. They desperately wanted him. However, as he learned that there was redlining happening here, and that meant that Blacks and Jews were being denied the ability to buy a house in the very expensive, lovely neighborhood of La Jolla. Even to the point where apparently they would put a green card in the window indicating, the realtor would do that to indicate that there was a Jew riding in the car looking for a house.
Wow.
So what happened was the UCSD did get him. There was I believe his name was Mendel Weiss, was helping to bring Jonas Salk to the university. Basically, he's like, if my people can't live here, I'm not coming.
Right.
So that was when the redlining stopped against Jews in La Jolla. It still continued against the Blacks, and there's still results of that today, where you find that the concentration of Blacks in San Diego is basically in one particular area, which is not La Jolla, because of course houses help build family generational wealth.
Yeah.
So the trickle down. But she's going to basically, I mean, it'd be very short, but she is going to basically say, and that's not right, because I'll also tell you something else, that Lori Leak's father, well, he's basically kind of more cultural Christian. And that may evolve as the books go on, but Lori and her mother are Black Jews. And so there's also going to be in the story a Shabbat worship service.
Great.
So very,
inclusive,
different elements.
Yes.
And I take those from because I am Jewish. So I'm taking this, from my life. These are snapshots, literal snapshots made into illustrations of my life. So in this book, I get to help viewers and readers see America's finest city through her adventures, surfing in the San Diego, the famous San Diego Zoo and Safari Park. Uh, oh, there's golfing to be had. There's carousels to ride. There's all kinds of wonderful things to do in San Diego. And of course, Lori Leak is going to do them.
Yeah. And because she's doing them, other children of color who read them go, "Oh, well, if she can, why can't I?" Right?
Right.
It's that door opener for a child to believe, well, I don't have to stay in my neighborhood. This is available to me. I want to go and see other places. I want to explore
I
these
want
other
to go
worlds.
do other things. Like I'm excited. I mean, she goes surfing.
Hmm.
And are you aware that there is an entire Black surfing culture around the world? No,
No.
because who do you see surfing?
Yeah.
They're all Euro.
Yeah.
That's who you're seeing surf. There is an entire part of the surfing culture are Black people. So this is how it starts. The children can see, hey, this is something that I can do. And again, in these books, it's always that Lori Leak is showing, hey, this is just, I can do this because I want to. I can do this because I'm a kid.
Yeah.
I can be, do, and have whatever I want.
Right. And then obviously as a kid, she's traveling with her parents. She's not beaming to these places on her own.
Yeah, she's
And it's
traveling with her family. You know, her
right.
dad has these business trips, and so he takes them along. And her mother, you know, she's self-employed, so she's able to work on the road. And so they
Modern day
go.
family.
Right. You know, so and her brother, you know, comes along. So her brother, which was my brother Earl, he's
Mm.
named Earl in the book, and of course the parents are Lawrence and Adele, my parents' name. So basically putting them, you know, out there and as a family and they they have meals together and explore things together. Oh, there's going to be a wonderful restaurant scene that's just going to blow your mind. I have to tell you when the book comes out, it's just really it's just absolutely stunning restaurant scene. But there's
Mm.
so much. I love San Diego. I
Mm.
really do. America's finest city? Yeah, I'll give it that because you really can find a lot of wonderful things to do, places to go, um, and it gives you the ability to be outside, take advantage of nature.
Hmm.
Um, but it also, again, as I said, will deal with the issues of racial equality and inequality. Definitely, that comes up in the book. Children can handle anything.
Yes.
Children can handle anything if you are honest. They can handle death. They can handle about racism because children only, again, no filter, and
Yeah.
they know is how to love and be loved until you teach them hate
Yeah.
and to hate
Yeah.
or that someone hates them. So they only know love. So for her to find this out too is very important and very important, how her family handles it, about the fact that if because of your ethnicity, your color, your religion, you are treated unfairly. But I want that to be there, and I don't think it would be appropriate to do a children's book about visiting this city and then deny that
Yeah.
happened, that went on. At the same time, also there is in the book, um, remember on the first book when they went to Paris, how she danced with
Hmm.
the Doris girls of the Moulin Rouge?
Yes.
Well, she gets in on the Shabbat service, on this one. The Rat Pack,
Yeah. Yes.
Sammy Davis Jr. and Frank
Right.
Sinatra and
Dean
all
Martin.
Dean
Mhm.
Martin and And occasionally it was also Joey.
Hmm.
I can't think of his
No,
last name
I
now
can't
again.
remember his name.
Um, but at any rate, yeah. So she called them the Rab Pack because the two rabbis and the
Right.
cantor and yeah. So Lori and her mother get in on the music. Um,
Excellent.
yeah,
I mean, this is obviously a kind of a life that you wish that you had had, that you've actually had since you've been an adult, traveling, etc. But to see a child travel and have all these experiences and these awarenesses for children who are reading this that have not yet had that experience, who just really their world is just their proximity, it's what's going on around them. But to be able to read this and go, there's so much more out there. I can do this. I can experience, oh, this is going on. It's a wonderful experience for children to have. And as you said, children are no nonsense. There's no filter. And our children today that are being born, the indigo children, are being born with such smarts. They have such, yeah,
children are so intelligent.
yes, intuitively
We don't give
intelligent
them
too, right? They're
that
really,
credit.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, they're
they
connected
see
to heart
things
soul.
and they see them clearly.
Yes.
And we need to give children the space to say, I see this, I know that, without shaming them
Oh, yeah,
or
or
silencing
demeaning them
them.
as a child. You're a child, what do you know? It's they observe things. And of course, the way they're going to articulate it is obviously up to their vocabulary. But they're going to call you out on things. My youngest daughter was definitely one on that. She would call out the racism, she would call out the bigotry, she would call out everything, and she would hold you accountable to it. And she was little and she, didn't care that what you said was not nice, and that she would make sure you know it.
Yes,
And she's always been like that. She still is like that. The whole thing is if we give them permission to dream, to believe that there's more out there for them, that they can travel, they can do anything they want in life, that they have a voice and they can speak to what they see and how they feel and what they believe is right and wrong. We are producing more stable and coherent adults. We have a dysfunctional society because the way we brought our children up.
yes, yes. Well, we take our adult filters and put them on children, and we
Oh,
take our dysfunction and we thrust it upon them, and we really need to be careful about doing that. Um, and I think that it's really important that we keep our children's creativity, keep their minds, their
yeah,
imagination going. That children should be reading a lot more. They should be exploring a lot more. I
yeah,
know that in the time that we are talking right now, we are in this pandemic where it has been very difficult
yes,
for a lot of parents, not all, but a good deal of parents, especially those in lower economic um, brackets. It has been really challenging, but we really do need to have them read more, have
yes,
them get outside in nature more. And, you know, I have, there's so much in my mind, Sarah, about, again, I don't have children. And hopefully soon that will be changing.
hmm,
Um, but I remember being very concerned when the pandemic first hit. Even in the first week, I heard parents complaining about having to spend so much time with their
mm,
children. And that was a week into the lockdown.
yeah,
They didn't want the children around. They couldn't imagine spending so much time with them. Oh my gosh, it was just somehow going to ruin their lives. And I thought to myself, what would you do if you were, the parents of Anne Frank, and
yeah,
you had Anne Frank and you all, having to hide away, uh, in the dark recesses, corners of a house,
yeah,
for your life. You don't want your child around. We're in a pandemic, and granted, again, I don't have children, but if I had children, I don't think that a life-threatening pandemic would make me be hostile to my children, or speak ill of them. I know it's challenging to try to find some space and time for yourself, but you wanted children. You took the time to have
Yeah.
children.
Yeah.
This is part, and this is, and even the being with the spouses, the pandemic is very interesting, I think, for showing us uh, how we've been living. And I think it informs us of the changes that we need to make in order to be living more authentic lives, in order to be treating ourselves and our relationships and the people in those relationships better. And children, they really, I mean, their life has changed. Uh,
Yes.
the American socialization that goes on in schools has changed for them. They've all had to learn how to socialize within their families. Now, for families that were accustomed to really only socializing within their family, it's not been a
No.
change. But for families that were busy sending the kids out to constantly be socialized at school and in sports and things like that, well, it has been very, very, very different. Sadly, I know that a young boy committed suicide, and they've had, there's difficulty with suicide right now, and that just breaks my heart that children would kill themselves. Um, I don't know all the circumstances, so I really can't speak knowledgeably to it, but that breaks my heart.
Yeah.
um, I really want kids to have love and have joy and know that it's a tough time, but we're getting through this together, that there is nothing you can't talk about. And I make Lori Leak like that.
Yes.
There is nothing she can't say to her parents. Um, she knows she may get in trouble later, but she knows she can go ahead and try
Right.
this or that other thing. And I even talk about that a little bit in the first book, because she kind of asked, before she goes to bed, if they thought, basically that she was kind of a, bad little girl. And they were like, no, you know, um, I I set it up so that Lori Leak's parents, like my parents, which they're very well patient. Like, I'll tell you a story, but I did something that was older than Lori Leak is. I was writing what you could call erotic fiction
How old were you?
in junior high,
Uh-huh.
and I was getting paid for it. I was an entrepreneur. I was like $1 to read each chapter every day. And if you wanted me to write a chapter, with you in it and your favorite celebrity. So I'm making money. I've got my little writing career going, making my pocket money, which is pretty lucrative for that. Even now, I'd be like, that was a good amount of money, because I would catch between 30 and 60 kids a day.
Hmm.
To take time to read it. Um, so my mother found the notebook, um, because it fell, my stuff fell down on the floor, and she went pick it up and she saw it. And she asked me very patiently, like, a lot of mothers would be like, oh, you dirty little girl, and how could you do this? And what are you writing? Oh, Um, well, my mother knew that wouldn't work with me.
Hmm.
I would, she just knew that approach would be like, I'd be like, hmm, yeah. mhm. Um, and I would go silent within myself. So she just came to me. She said, well, I just have a question. I just wondered, is that really how you want to be known? And just left me with that question.
Right.
So I had time to think about it, and soon thereafter, I ended my erotic fiction writing career. Um, but then I went on to writing poetry, and so, but taking that approach with me. And that's the approach that I have Lori Leak's mother and father, take with her. My father was also very, calm, rational, kind of person. Uh, okay, we'll just take it like this. My mother was actually the more emotional one, but she also knew what she would say, you're like your father. She had to approach me very calmly, very rationally, it's kind of like in the first book, in Lori Lee Goes to Paris, she eats snails at a restaurant with her father. He very calmly talks her through it that, it's kind of like liver and butter, and so she'll try it, those kinds of things. But children, I really, these books are designed for children to realize that there is a whole world to explore. I didn't get to start surfing until I was an adult. But now here, Lori Leak is surfing. But then there's a thing like the joy of riding a carousel. I love carousels, don't you?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, they are amazing things. They are so artistic.
Yeah. And the Ferris wheel and things like that, up in the sky. The thing about children and their incredible imagination is that the sky is the limit. There is no limit, I mean, my brother is an author and he writes a great deal around youth genre because he loves the fact that literally, I finished his new book last night, the rough copy of it, where it's the end of the world, and it's 2057, and it's looking for new worlds, and these kids are literally the future, and they've got to save everyone. And he does this a lot where you kind of think, would a kid do that at that age? And then we look at our kids, look at the kids at one of these shootings, park I think it was the Parkland ones, where they literally got a group together where they went and started, lobbying against guns and being articulate and really standing up for their rights. We're so easy to suppress kids. Oh, what do you know? You're just a kid. Right? No, and you've just got to do as what I tell you to do. You've got to do this. You've got to do that. If we stop doing that and we just say, okay, how do you feel about it? What do you think about it? What do you fear about it? What are your questions? We have always had a round table. The dining table was always round, and my kids would come home after school with friends, and we would have a conversation at dinner at night. You would get the things, Mom, what's a homosexual? And you would deal with it appropriate to the age. But we never lied. We might have skirted, how much they need to know, but we never lied because they're being inquisitive. I don't want them to get the wrong information from somewhere else. So I need to respect their inquisitiveness. I need to respect their intellect that's in growth. I need to respect their wonderment of what they see in the world. And I need to nurture that because that's what makes them better human beings.
Yes. Yes. Honoring children is extremely important, I think.
Yeah.
Honoring. Yeah. And when you say that, I mean, I think there are so many things, I have 50 books planned, and there are so many things I'm going to be able to put into them. I mean, this one will have something, about racism and housing. And another will have something, when I was very little, before I would go to bed, I would plot out in my head exactly how I was going to get my parents, my brother, and my dog out of the house in the event of a fire. And my mother thought, oh, you don't need to be thinking about that,
Yeah.
Don't worry about that. That's not happening, she would tell me. We sold that house, and 2 weeks later, it burned from the inside out. Electrical fire.
Right. Again, that intuitiveness, when we did have a house fire, and that year we'd gone to Universal Studios and seen Backdraft, the whole thing there.
Oh,
and
yeah.
and I was about to open up a door to let the flames out to release it so it wouldn't go into the house. And my son goes, no, backdraft, starts hosing me to make sure I don't do it. He was 13, you know, and he went back in to rescue the hamsters, you know, and it's just amazing that we just don't give them enough credit. What we should be doing is taking that wonderment and watering it, you know, nurturing it, because those that step into their creativity, into that wonderment, are the explorers. They're the solutionists. They'll look at a problem and not be paralyzed by it. They'll be challenged by it and go, okay, what can we do about it? But, you know, I
They can
think
see other solutions.
yes,
They can
yes,
see solutions that we
yes,
can't see. It's like they have that ability
yeah,
to see the other side of the cube
right.
that you're not showing them.
And
So
if, you know, if they're in a family that, you know, is full of drama or insecurity, that insecurity is going to rub off on a child like it does with an animal. You know, oh, my animal is playing up, I don't know what's wrong with it, what's going on in the household, what's going on with you, because that animal will pick up the stress that you're having and react it out. So will your child. Your child has no idea why they're acting out, but they're picking up from your vibration. So being open and honest with your kids and say, I'm having a bad day or I'm stressed out right now. It's got nothing to do with you and it's not your fault, but you've just got to understand that's where mama is right now. Immediately they can deal with that and go, okay, what can we do for you, mom? Right. And it also, they know it's not their fault. So they don't start taking on the blame game. Right. Because kids will feel guilty for just existing sometimes. Right.
yes, and you really don't want that
No,
to happen. You really
no,
don't want that to happen.
no.
So I mean, I I think that like those kinds of things, the blaming and shaming, that will never happen in a Lori Leak
No.
book. She's always treated with respect, definitely as though she is a child,
Mm-hmm.
um, never as a little adult, but that she is a child and that she is respected
Yeah.
and that she's loved and she's respected, that her personhood is always honored. So
Mm.
that's really important, and I want that to come across in the Lori Lee books. And I definitely want that to come across in anything that, and when she talks to adults, she's very direct, but she's not disrespectful.
Right.
Her intent is never to harm anyone or to put anyone down, but it is rather to comment on what she sees and to reveal what she knows,
Mm-hmm.
which is very natural for a child to do.
Feed
I'm
that
and
inquisitivity, right?
yes, that's really important. I don't know if you've heard any stories. I haven't. I just it, I have been thinking about, how this is, how it is for children now, at least American children, if um are they getting that mental exercise
Mm.
during the pandemic lockdown, and not being able to be in school, how much mental stimulation they're getting? Are you
They're
hearing
getting
anything
too
from
much of
them?
this. I've done quite a number of shows on it. Too much of either on the phone or on the computer. They're doing all their work by computer. And then the socialization is that as well. And it's they're not doing, you know, like I remember as a child, I'll be out in my neighborhood pushing my doll's pram or on my bicycle, and I'd be gone for hours. You know, as long as I was back for mealtime, then nobody worried about me. And now we're so worried if our kids are on the front lawn and we're not watching them because we've got into that
Well,
society.
yes,
So
but that's pre-pandemic.
yeah, that and but even with the pandemic now, it's you know, there's a different type of worry because you don't want them mixing with someone else. What if they have it? And yeah, you know, there's and that there is going to be anxiety over the COVID because it's affected everyone's lives. There isn't anybody's life who hasn't been affected, and how we manage it as a family or as adults is going to reflect on our children. And if it's like, let's roll up our sleeves, folks, we don't know what we're in for, but we're in it together. You know, we're a family, we're in it together. And if an income drops and go, you know, folks, you know, we're going to have to pull the reins in a little bit here. But, you know, we're still together. Kids are just so much more savvy than we give them credit for, as long as they know we're in it together. Now,
Yes,
unfortunately, there's a lot of people
in
that
the
are,
case of
are going to,
emergency.
yeah.
Yeah, you need stability. I watched the town hall with President Joseph Biden uh, last week, and there was a little girl who was afraid she was going to catch COVID and die.
Hmm.
And he said, "Don't be scared. Don't be scared." And I said, "That's what we need
Yeah.
for a president. We need a president who's going to tell us we're going to get through this.
Yes.
He is going
Not
to,
somebody who's a
yes,
shoot
yes,
stirrer.
yes. He's gonna, yes, because
Yes.
he's going to tell us, just like he said he's going to manage the hell out of this
Yeah.
pandemic. And that's what we want, because that's how, I know distinctly that I had that feeling about my father before he died. Yes, I mean, no matter how bad it is out there,
Yeah.
that he was going to manage it. He was going to manage it, open the doors, pave the way, make everything okay. And if I came home with a bad situation, from a bad situation, that he was going to take care of it. Somehow I was going to be okay.
Yeah.
And so I think I'm really grateful. And this is without, partisan politics.
Hmm.
This is saying I am happy that we have a president who is facing the pandemic head on, who's handling it, who is getting us vaccines and who's giving us realistic timelines. And when he can't, he's telling us. And when something is turning out differently or there's been a mistake, he's telling us,
Yeah.
because we can all deal with the truth.
Right.
We can
Yes.
all deal well with the truth. So I feel like life has changed a bit. My pandemic life, I don't know about yours. Mine, it really hasn't changed that much. I am a single woman. Um, and so I am by myself the majority of time anyway.
Hmm.
I have always, so I've been single my entire life, never married, never in a relationship. And I have worked. And I made my social life with, okay, I will go out and spend time with this person and that person, and I knew times and things. And even when traveling, uh, I knew, when I was going to basically have social times, and most of my time spent alone. It
Hmm.
hasn't changed with the pandemic,
Right.
although it has been maybe a bit more. I'm where I spent 90%, 85 to 90% of my time alone before. Now it's more like 90 to 95.
Hmm.
So I got two kittens, um, and they are my emotional support animals.
Yeah.
They're absolutely lovely. But other than that, you know, I've been able to get through this pandemic pretty well. We have our Shabbat worship services on Friday evenings and Saturday mornings online, but they were being live streamed beforehand so that if you
Right.
couldn't make it to the synagogue, you could have them. And we were ready with classes and courses and things, like all kinds of things. But the pandemic for me has been a time of getting deeper into my Judaism,
Hmm.
deeper into my spirituality, doing more reading, doing more Hebrew study, doing more Torah study, um, coming to better understand what it is that I believe, um, and really grasping the truth of that. It has made I know I have grown by leaps and bounds in the past year
Hmm.
spiritually because of the pandemic, and I'm glad about that. I've lost a lot of weight. um
I wish I could say the same.
I lost it. I thought, oh no, I'm going to get fat, really fat. But I didn't. I started a routine,
Mm,
walking every morning,
right.
6,000 to 12,000 steps. It takes me, it took me an hour in the beginning. Now it takes me like 50 to 51 minutes to hit those 6,000 steps. And then I try to, sometimes bump it up to 12,000. So I walk every morning. Most of the mornings I walk with someone else. I'm by myself. The other person is either by themselves or in one of the cases is bubbled with her husband.
Mm-hmm.
So we still mask up, and we hit it, and we're out there and we're walking early in the morning. So I've lost so much weight. And then as a midlife woman, ooh, I want to tell you about this because I have to promote this thing. I make no money from it. But let me tell you, as a midlife woman, there are things that go on in the aging process. Um, you start, getting little pains and aches, and uh, things don't move as fluidly as they used to. And you also, your body, you're not as fluid as you were,
Mm-hmm.
in many ways, all kinds of things going on. And then new things happening, and honestly, I will say I was getting a lot of UTIs, and for a woman, those are not comfortable. And that means having to take a lot of antibiotics and things like that. And just, all things are going on. And I said, we need to check my hormones, because I also felt like mood wise, okay, what's happening here? Long story short, I went, had the endocrinologist do the whole battery of tests, every single level of every hormone, vitamin levels, glucose, all everything. Come to find out, of course, that things were way low. Not where they were basically all of my prior life. Um, and so what did I do? I went on bioidentical hormone replacement therapy, which is not the dangerous kind that can give you cancer.
The
It's
estrogen one.
bioidentical.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, I had no idea how badly I was feeling until
Mm.
I began to feel good.
Right. Mm-hmm.
It was amazing. No more UTIs,
Mm-hmm.
because let me tell you, I am one juicy woman. I am absolutely juicy. And I will say that. Yes. Are you kidding? I mean, whoa. I don't even know if I felt this good when I was in my 20s.
Mm.
I mean, and that's because if you find the right medical care, someone who is willing to address the fact that you are a woman,
Yeah.
uh, then yeah. I mean, so I take this stuff. It's through a company called BioT, BIO capital TE, BioT. And I mean, whoa, I am just so I mean, I feel really back. That's this past year. So it's like, wow.
Well, you're going to
I
need
am
that
just,
for the next 46 books.
yes, I know. I will. I will need it for the next 56 books. I always told people I'm going to live to be 112, you see.
And we're
So,
seeing so many people in the hundreds today. That's
yeah,
totally doable.
yes. I saw a woman that just used 116,
Hmm.
and she just got her second COVID shot in
Yeah.
South Carolina the other day.
Yeah. There was a woman
And
of 117. And then there's been so many cases of women and men in the hundreds and something
yes,
having got the COVID and come out perfectly all right. Obviously maybe some side effects,
yeah.
but come out of it.
I'm
And,
very, very glad. I'm very glad about, because I know, as you imagine, if your body is basically deteriorating, if you're losing your hormones and you're
mm,
losing your vitamins and your minerals out of your body, and they're not being replaced
replenished. Hmm.
when they could be. That's the thing. We don't have to age so badly and have all that aging that causes
Yeah.
inflammation, and that's
Yes.
how you die. I mean,
Yes.
so now I'm like, oh wow, I am all juiced up now. I mean, I was having phantom aches and pains in my feet and my hands and arms and legs. I thought, well, this is just a part of aging. It'll get worse. This is how you feel when you're like, no, I am not having any of that anymore. I mean, I have pep in my step. It's just, I mean, if you squeeze me, water will probably come out of me. It's just, I mean, it just, wow. I feel so good. And that's been this pandemic year,
Yeah.
just taking care of my body, taking care of my spirit, taking care of my mind, doing a lot of reading,
Hmm.
a lot of reading. There are such wonderful things out here to be reading, and not the bad stuff. Like I just, wow. We all, I am so glad we have a calmer,
Yeah.
media atmosphere.
Oh,
I go
as
to
somebody
see,
said, very boring and vanilla. But you know what?
yes,
We're very happy to have this vanilla
there's
news.
no horrible, terrible
Yeah,
thing. I don't wake up and
hysteria.
find out that
Mm,
families have been separated, parents from separated from their children, or uh 36 people have been executed overnight or scheduled for execution, or that there's it's just some kind of terrible inflammatory thing happening. I
yeah,
don't have to sit and watch an insurrection happening while I'm
there.
online.
Yeah,
We have coffee with the rabbi on Wednesdays. So I was online. We were all online, and a lot of us, we have the TV going on silent. Um, and we are having a chat about whatever. And suddenly, the insurrection took place.
yeah.
That was traumatizing.
Yes.
Now there's that just isn't happening.
No,
Um,
it isn't happening. The accountability for it isn't happening either. And what we mustn't do we all are enjoying the peace right now, but at the same time, we mustn't, buy into the peace without having the accountability. Otherwise, it
how
will
do you
raise
want to
its head
see
again.
how do
Yeah,
you want to see accountability happen? Because of course we've got people who are still denying that the insurrection even took
I
place.
know. And that pressure comes from the people. That the people have to stand up, because we know we've just seen it with the second impeachment, where there are various people that just didn't give it the respect at all, feet up on the table. They weren't going to vote no matter what. They're looking after themselves. They're looking after their own agenda, and they're not representing the people. They forget that when they're in office, they are there to serve the people, but it becomes very self-serving when they're in office.
Yes, they're
And
making 174 to
exactly, they're going to do
195
whatever they
thousand
need to,
dollars a
yeah,
year, and
and
they
they
don't
don't.
care about people making seven
Not at
dollars
all.
and
So
55
if we
cents
don't
an hour.
have that accountability, and then what we're going to do is just see a repeat of this. We're telling them it's okay, you can get away with it. So the pressure has to come from the people, not pitchforks. I call it actionism. Activism is when we're talking about it. Actionism is doing something about it. And if the government or the Congress won't do anything about it, we have to. And that's
You're
pressure
our
on the
voters.
people that are not standing up for the people. It's in the olden days, any one of these people doing a fraction of what they've done, they would have had to resign. And now they seem to
Right
be able
now,
to
they
get
just
away.
say, "Oh, I'm not resigning," because
Yeah.
they're like they're not afraid. Yeah,
Mm-mm.
this is what's
No.
terrible.
Yeah.
I
And what example is that to our children?
oh,
It is a terrible
it's a
example.
terrible. Well, hey, they call him Flying Lion Ted
Yeah.
Cruz, Texas.
Yeah.
That's been a tragedy what's happened down in Mexico.
Horrible.
But the
Horrible.
fact that he is blaming it on his children, his escape, his attempted escape to Cancun,
Yeah.
blamed on his children and left his dog to freeze.
Right.
Come on, you
Exactly.
know. So why? So, I'm gonna just sit back, and you had a governor who tried to blame. I mean, Texas is basically oil, gas, and
Mm.
coal, fossil fuels that we shouldn't even be using anymore.
They're trying to blame the
That's
windmills and
and they
things.
took them off of the grid, so then they
Yeah.
just except for El Paso, which is not off the grid, they're connected to the U.S. grid. Um, so the governor, the governor did this. The governor, and then here's Cruz. They're just horrible. I watch them just tell fantastic lies,
Yes.
trying to blame it on wind turbines. No, the wind turbines
Yeah.
were not the problem.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so the thing is, what are Texans going to do? Speaking of
Exactly.
actionism,
Yeah.
what are Texans going to do? So do you forget about it when Ted Cruz comes up for reelection in, what is it,
No,
2023? I think it
you
is.
you don't even wait for then. You
You
put
know,
pressure
well,
on him now.
they've called for his resignation.
Right.
Are you kidding? That guy is not going to resign.
Yeah.
So I don't even. So people know, but it's no point in that.
But
But
this is one of
when
the
he comes up
things.
again,
Yeah.
they don't
Don't
reelect
do
him.
it. Right. But the thing is, we shouldn't have to wait for that because, again, they're a public servant. And if they haven't served the people because they were serving themselves, then they have Freudened the people,
But they
right?
don't
So
have that sense of shame anymore.
no,
I
they
mean,
don't. But
I'm,
somewhere along the line, the law has to go in and say, I don't care if you don't have the shame. You have
but
not.
then they
You
have to
have.
pass a law
Uh-huh.
that would force them to resign in
Mm-hmm.
those cases. But it would have to be very specific, because look at how we have specific law about what is impeachable and what someone should be convicted for in impeachment. And we just decided to say that it didn't apply, that there was a technicality, it was
Yeah.
all kinds of things.
It's like
So
the
the
same
thing,
in,
I don't think that we can,
yeah.
I
But
think the point is to
we
not
know
vote the person
that
in
the
again.
system is broken. And so while all of this has come to a head, and the last 4 or 5 years has shown us all the scum that's been behind the scenes for so long, and it's being tweeted and it's been in our face. As we're busy pointing
But
fingers.
74 million voters
I know, but
think that
because
that's all
they've
true.
bought into the sugar high. But while we're busy pointing a finger at everyone else, there's three pointing back at us and saying, why are we allowing this? Why are we supporting this? Why are we not holding them accountable? And that is, I think, this era right now is accountability. That's the Black Lives Movement. That's been the Me Too movement. This is
But
the
what do you
environmental
think
movement.
realistically can be done other than the commission that has now been set up? I think they're doing what they can do. The
But
commission's been set
and
up
the more
into,
public pressure
into
that
the
is behind
insurrection.
it, the
But you
more.
can't get a cruise, you can't get a cruise out unless you vote him out. You can't make resign in the, he's not quitting his $174,000. He's probably making 195
Right.
because of his position. You can't get him to, he's not going to quit that job. He's going to have to be fired from it via
Right.
an election. So my
Or
thing is,
fired from it
okay, well,
beforehand, where the
then
public say
people,
it's
they
enough.
need to not
This is a
vote them
crime.
in. So
Yeah.
when they come up for re-election, remember this and do not vote them in
Yeah.
again. And
See,
that's where people have to
that is
remember.
showing the kids that there's something definitely wrong. We had a guy here in our political thing here in Canada that busy on the TV telling everybody at Christmas to stay home, just stay in your bubble, and he went away, right? Off to
Yes,
another country.
that's been a couple of them.
Yeah,
Our governor did it.
and they had to resign. They resigned.
Well,
And so, with a
there's a
different
recall.
standard.
Yeah, there's a recall. People are wanting him to be recalled. So
Yeah.
it's not official. They're trying to get enough signatures. They're hoping to get enough signatures to try to force our governor to resign. I'm going to vote for him. I'm not voting for him to resign. He apologized. What he did was he had a dinner. He had a dinner at a restaurant without mask.
Well, you don't eat dinner with a mask on.
Well, it's the Republican Party put $250,000 into trying to recall our governor because he's a Democrat.
Right. Yeah.
So, I'm not going to vote. I don't think he should resign. I think he apologized and that was it. We have the best governor here, I think, in California. That man kept this state from turning into a horrible COVID mess.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was hard on people who wanted to be out and up in each other's face all the time. Like even now I can tell people, hey, you're all up in McGrill, back up.
Yeah.
I think that our governor's done a really good job. But again, accountability. I think that we're doing what we can with this new commission that's been set up in order to look into the insurrection. And then when people come up for a vote again, you need to vote them out. They voted for this guy, Flying Lion Ted Cruz, over Beto O'Rourke. Yet Beto O'Rourke has been the one who's been out there helping people during the Texas crisis. He was there, and he was a Democrat, and another Democrat, AOC, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez from New York, raised $5 million for Texans and then went down there to distribute food, listen to their story, listen to their pain, and be with them in their suffering.
She actually understands, and he actually understands the role as a public servant.
Yes.
Right. And this is, again, if we want children like Lori Leak to believe that anything is possible, that it doesn't matter if they're Jewish, if they're color, it doesn't matter what their ethnicity is, what their sexual preference is, where their economic situation is, that they can dream, that it is possible, and not to have in the news, oh, he's just going to hold on to his position and nobody cares, and it doesn't matter what you do, they're not going to be accountable. And if we allow that, what are we saying to our children? That nobody's going to be accountable for what they do to you or what they do.
Okay, and we can't do this thing of, oh well, oh well, he just made a mistake. No, because children are made accountable when
yes,
they do things that
they have to hold accountability. Absolutely,
they get called to account.
Exactly.
So I think that's. In my books, I always make that happen. And in real life, I think, that can happen. Definitely with Lori Leak, there will be a book where there's a vote taking place and Lori Leak and her parents talk about voting.
Yeah.
Those
you're going to be doing one on Washington, D.C. and Kamala Harris?
Yes. Kamala Harris is right there. Kamala Harris is on the cover. Her being sworn in is on the cover. I think it's very important. Lori Leak did advise former President Barack Obama at one point. I don't know if you remember.
Yes, there's a beautiful picture of that.
And so she will be having a little meeting with Vice President Kamala Harris. So yes.
And that book needs to be sent to Kamala Harris so she can actually comment on that, right? Because this is the thing, you look at how many women and women of color, diverse color, have got into public service, into government in this last year. And the swing has shifted, right? And we just don't want the fake news anymore. I call it the CNN effect, where they take a pimple and make it into a volcanic eruption. We're all tired of that. We're tired of the COVID. We're tired of the fake news. We're tired of the hysteria and the shoot steering up. We're tired of that. We want people that care about people. We want people that have solutional ideas. We want people that listen to the people. We want people that are approachable and that you can really talk to them. And we're seeing that so much more in this new political arena that's slowly happening. But the old regime has to go.
I want to mention that you said CNN, and I have to say, I watch CNN. I watch CNN, I watch MSNBC. I watch the 3 major networks when I look at their news programs. And I switch around and I check, and they are much more accurate. And I don't find the inflammatory stuff going on.
Yeah,
now,
I think
when there's a commentary show, yeah. But now I really tried to watch Fox News. I tried.
Yeah, I should be changing it to the Fox News, not the CNN.
They just make up things.
Nothing out of their mouth is true.
They actually make it up.
Yes.
I mean, it's lying. It's just lying. Like there's no, we toss around 2 terms now: misinformation and disinformation. Disinformation is lying.
Yes.
Disinformation is lying, and I wish we would actually use that word.
Yeah.
It's like we started out saying shell shock, which meant we knew that these were soldiers who gotten hurt by the pounding of shells exploding near them. And then now we just call it, PTSD, things like that. We keep using words that take away the actual effect of what is going on. And I think rather than saying disinformation, we need to say lying, because it's mendacity. It is
but look at the way they're doing it. I don't know about you, but I've gone to a couple of kind of events where there's a lot of people there. And what they do is they stir it up and they stir it up and they stir it up. And the next thing you know, it's a huge sugar high and everybody's buying into it and everybody's on that thing. And then, bump, they crash. And what do they want? They want the sugar high again. Fox News is that sugar high.
Yeah, it's just, it's amazing. So I cannot watch. I have a friend who, well, I talk to her on the phone a lot. And sometimes it's very hard because she has partaken of the Kool-Aid.
Yes, I have
We're
a
in the
couple of
midst
friends
of a
too.
telephone conversation, talking just like this,
Yeah.
and suddenly she starts screaming, "Shut your in kitty pie hole, you stop Pelosi!" And I say,
Goodbye.
"What's happening? Should I hang up, or what is happening that you're so upset?" "I'm just saying,
Yeah.
just die, you know." And,
Yeah.
and I'm sitting there, you know. And then she said to me, "You're not watching the real news. I saw that the votes were stolen." And I'm like, "No. Where did you see that the votes were stolen?" And I love the rainbow.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Uh,
It's my daughter's baby shower thing. It keeps coming up and it won't go.
that's, that's okay. Hey, at least you're not a cat.
Yes.
um, so and so I try to ask rational questions,
There is
and
no rationality when
about
somebody's in that state.
I would never break into an expletive
Right.
filled
No.
explosion in the midst of a conversation, and so over, like, I saw the vote, and can't tell me where the votes have been being stolen. And she said, "You don't watch the real news." And she's naming all these extremist right wing media outlets. I can't say that they're news stations, you
No, they're
know,
not. They're not.
and I'm like, oh,
I mean,
okay.
COVID was created by 5G, and the
Yeah.
QAnon.
And
What was it? Bernie and Hillary
Pizzagate.
Clinton
Did you
and
get the
Tom Hanks.
the Pizzagate thing? Yeah, the
Yeah, the
Pizzagate
one
thing,
about
where the celebrities were
they're
supposed
eating
to be.
babies' blood for their longevity.
Yes, and it
Yeah.
had something to do with the child trafficking in the pizza parlor,
Hmm.
which caused one man to break into a pizza parlor with a gun.
Yeah.
I
Yes.
mean,
But you
and
see, that's what I'm saying is there is no rationale. You can't reason with someone who's in hysteria. And the news for the last 4 or 5 years has just pushed that button the whole time. I've got some very intelligent friends who are doing wonderful work, and they'll keep sending me stuff. And I just go, thank you, thank you, thank you. And that's it. I'm just not going to buy into it. And it's like, please, where's your common sense? Stop looking at everything as conspiracy. And why are you feeding hate? What is that saying about you?
they don't really have an answer. And I
No.
tried, I have been for me, I've been very clear. I am very clear with people that don't come to me with that.
Yeah.
I am totally unwilling to listen to it because it is not reality, and I will not waste my time trying to dispute it with you. If you wish to continue on that track, you'll have to go there alone.
Yeah.
Now, I have seen at least two stories on the news, on CNN, women talking about how they came to realize they had gotten sucked into a very cultic thing, the QAnon, how they had alienated their spouses and had badly hurt their children,
Right.
that they had to go to their children and beg for their forgiveness and apologize to them for how they had neglected them and become short-tempered with them and told them lies, all because of all that
Yeah.
QAnon Trump stuff.
Yeah.
They had to imagine that,
Yeah.
realizing you've abused your child because of that stuff.
Right. And friends, there is a friend with, people are saying things and doing things that they never thought they would ever do. They would criticize somebody else doing it, but here they are spewing. And why? Because they've got into that vibration. And that vibration can have them like a hurricane, constantly going around in a spiral, and they don't know how to get out.
It's a dark vortex,
It's
and they
a
just
dark
get
vortex.
sucked in.
And,
Yeah.
getting back to children, children are watching this, and it's like they don't know what to believe, because when you've got somebody in that kind of that heavy vibration of hate is so intense, and it's so damning to the spirit and to the psyche. It can damage a child without even them speaking to the child, just being in that atmosphere. So, the lesson here, and I hope that you do address it somewhere along the line in one of Laura Lee's books, is do not impose upon your children your discontent. You can talk rationally about what's wrong, what can we do right, but the moment you step onto the hate rhetoric, them against
That's if they
us
can
rhetoric,
even, if they can
that's
recognize it as hate. They don't
yes.
recognize it as hate. They don't realize, I
Mm,
mean, you shouldn't be talking to your children
mm-mm.
by screaming at them, and you shouldn't
God,
be
no.
screaming around them.
Hmm. No. And you shouldn't be, bad mouthing, someone else because of their color or because of anything else. We have a huge Asian community here, and the amount of Asian violence, of a 91-year-old pushed to the curb, a woman with a walker, the walker kicked over so she fell over, because they're blaming them for the flu, for
I've
the
seen
COVID.
that, but
Yeah,
who does that go back to? I
right.
remember when he was doing that. I have a friend, she's Chinese American, and I mean, her husband has to go everywhere with her.
Mm,
Until recently, she was pregnant,
mm.
because he had to safeguard her, because
Yes.
people felt it was just, it is open season
Yeah.
on Asian Americans,
Yeah.
just open season, and it's not open season,
No.
but I also have to say, and then look at this, because who's doing this?
Yeah.
This is not African Americans.
No.
This is not Latino Americans going around and doing this.
No.
This is the angry white male. And I think
Angry
that's
white,
another thing.
unfortunately
They've got
Christian
to
male.
stop raising little Anglo boys, little
Yes.
white boys have white parents, you've got to stop raising your boys like this,
Yes.
because they're the ones who are doing all the domestic terrorism here in the United States. That's actually been proven.
Yep.
They are the ones. They are doing the bombings.
They
They are
are
shooting up the schools.
terrorists. Full stop. They
I
are
mean, full stop
terrorists.
terrorists.
Yeah.
They're the one. I mean, this is they are the majority. The raping,
Yeah.
murdering, killing. This is what's going on. The police officers
Yeah.
doing this. With I'm sure there are probably a couple of exceptions here and there, but the police brutality is coming from white men. And
Yeah.
remember, the police came out of the KKK. The
Yes.
police was formed in order to capture Black people who were free or
Mm,
escaping to freedom, and put them back into slavery, or to punish them after you could no longer formally enslave them.
mm.
That's where the police came out of. So the whole idea of protecting and serving was to protect and serve white people.
Right. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah,
and
there was
so,
something that kind of was rather disturbing, that I watched a little while ago, and it was an interview of a guy with his wife and two kids, and they're saying, why are you, against Black people? And he turned to his wife, well, why are we against them, honey? And she looked at him, absolutely adoring him, because we've got to get them before they come and get our children. And the love between them was just so
yeah,
evident.
it's
And it's
sometimes
like, but
it's
why?
demented.
But
It's a
it's
sick,
a
it's a
Twilight Zone
sickness.
moment.
It's a sickness in the
Yes,
soul and
yes,
a sickness in the mind. It really, really is. So I mean, those kinds of things, we really need to, and I will address them in Lori
yeah,
Lee, but I've
yeah.
already started with showing, like in Lori Lee Travels to Copenhagen. She takes a walk with Otto Nielsen. And Otto Nielsen, of course, is a little white Danish boy. Um, and I want to show that friendship, and that they,
Hmm.
and tell that they watch the World Cup,
Hmm.
together. Those kinds of, because those help children to understand that these relationships do exist, and that this is what's natural,
Yeah,
that this is
children,
what's
black,
right.
white, pink, yellow, polka dot, do not see racism. It's taught.
Yes.
Racism is taught.
Above all,
Yeah,
it is when I look back any of the time, it's always taught.
yeah,
Children are just so. open and loving. Um, and it really, it hurts my heart that there are children who are suffering, which is why I talked to you before the interview about my next really a big life goal of mine is to get a house, and I want to foster to adopt some girls who are in the foster care system, preferably seventh, eighth grade, and take them through high school and offer them the opportunity to actually be adopted by me,
Mm,
and to know that then they can have a normal life. They can take a gap year and then go off to college, or go out, just or go off to college, but that they've got a home, that they
right.
can come back to that home
Yeah.
every
And,
vacation,
and, and
every holiday.
unfortunately, foster children by the age of 18, whether in the middle of a school year or not, are cut off.
Yeah, they're cut off financially, and they're just tossed out there
Yep.
for whatever. It's
Right.
like getting out of prison and they give you, you know
A
the
park
clothes
bench. Yeah.
the clothes you came in with,
Yes.
and and $25.
Hmm. Hmm.
What are you
It
going
is
what
such
are
a
you gonna
bad
do?
system. It's like, as you said, if the child goes to college, they still need, home base. They still need to know they belong somewhere.
Right.
And this, one of the people, Rob Shear, that I've interviewed, he was in that foster care system at 18. That's it. They weren't getting money anymore. He was out. So he was living all sorts of places so he could finish school, right?
Right.
And joined the
And
army
yeah,
just so
well,
that he had a home.
yeah, I've definitely, that is, I mean, I am on that path. I am determined
Mhm.
that I want to have that home. Right now, I'm vying for a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom home house, that so that they will be able to know that they have a home
Yeah,
to sleep, to eat, to play, to relax, to escape from the world,
the
to
the
come
sanctuary,
to
the
themselves.
sanctuary.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
So
We all deserve
I
that.
think that's so important
Yeah,
for kids to be able to have. And I know, it's really sad that you have these girls and boys aging out of the
yeah.
foster care system into that, and then you're going to pronounce them an adult at 18. And really, I mean, well, a course on self-reliance skills does not an adult make.
No,
It takes 18 years to make it, 18
right.
years to
And
make an older adolescent.
right, exactly. And the thing is, if you're looking at a child that has come from abuse or neglect, I can tell you from all the thousands of shows that I've done that people that have had to go through the process of healing and to step into their meaningful purpose, it has generally come from an injured child, an abused child, maybe neglected, maybe abused, maybe sick child, but always comes back to the childhood. Right. So the more we empower our children, the more we
Yeah.
invest and nurture our children, the more we give them the belief in possibilities, and we fuel them and put in their backpack all the knowledge they need, and we're their custodians, we're their guiders, and the more we show them of how much they can achieve because we believe in them and we're there for them, as I said, what a better society we're going to see. We have a dysfunctional society around the world right now because we did not invest in our children. If we invest in our children now and we show them they can be anything they want to be, and we believe in them and we're there for them, we're going to see adults that are going to be so much more productive, more creative, more harmonious. And we're going to see a society with less crime, with less greed, and with a great deal more collaboration. So it lies in those children, however young. And with Laura Leak, with all the adventures that she goes on, all the experiences that she has, she's showing children, all children, doesn't matter who's reading it, but most certainly children of color, showing that there aren't any limitations. You can do and you can be and you can go anywhere you want to if you apply yourself, if
Yes,
you believe in
but
it.
they have to have that, but that they also have to have that foundation. We really
Yes.
need to give because that's the other thing is Lori Leak has a family. Lori Leak is coming from a secure foundation.
Yeah.
So one where even if she sneaks off and starts dancing the can-can with the Doris girls at the Moulin Rouge, she knows her parents still love her. Even if she decides, oh, she's going to join the waiters race, her parents are still there with her. Her parents still have her back.
Right.
That, you know, even whatever she's doing, that, you know, she's making new friends, she's eating new foods, learning new languages, learning new cultures, that her parents are still there, that they still got her back. And I think it's so important for children to know um, that that someone has their back. So
I'm glad you said,
I'm
you know,
really aiming to bring these girls in. I can just see them now to say, okay, here, yeah. I mean, this is your this is your final resting place on the way to adulthood, you
yeah,
know. And
yeah,
I'm gonna be here. If you want to be adopted and be, you know, family beyond 18, then yeah, we can do that. We'll make it work.
right. And you know, the whole thing about it is this, is that it may be good for Laurie Leak actually to befriend somebody along the line that is maybe a foster child or a
Yes,
child that's gone through struggles.
there,
Yeah.
yes, but I even think there will, you know, I can always do books in between the traveling books too
Yes.
that
Yes.
deal with particular topics,
Yeah.
such
Because, you know,
as,
you've also got the
yeah,
stigma of a child who's a foster child or abused child. They're angry, they don't know how to express themselves, and other parent, well, I don't want you mixing with that child. She's troubled. Instead of saying, well, that child is troubled, what can we do for that child? How can we show that child that love does exist?
yeah.
Right? Instead of like, I don't want to know, instead,
Well,
what do we need to know?
these books, I mean, in a sense, Lori Leak, of course, in and of herself, this these stories are groundbreaking. And again, these are things I also take from my life.
Mm-hmm.
And so I had thought about doing something with a foster child, and I also thought about doing something with a child who'd been abused, because I had that situation.
Yeah.
I was in high school. So I mean, it can always be adapted, but I was in high school, and I went with my friend to her house to get something after school. I forget for what. And when I was there, her father did not know that I was downstairs, and he attempted to abuse her right in front of me. The man actually swung a thick link chain. She came flying down the stairs, and right after her came a huge link chain, which he had flung down the stairs, hoping to hit her and for with it. I was standing there. I was shocked. And he came down the stairs after her, cursing. And I said, Donna, get your stuff. She was in tears. I said, get your stuff. He's standing there. He didn't know what to do. I said, get your stuff now. Pack a suitcase. So she just went and she did. He stood there. He didn't know what to say because
Right.
somebody had seen him.
Yes.
So she packed a little suitcase, and I said, we're going to my house. And that's it. And I was driving then. And so I drove her back to my house. That was it. My mom came home from work, and I said, Mommy, her father was abusing her. So she's staying with us. My mother said, okay. It wasn't a question. It wasn't, oh, I have to
Right.
talk to you about this. It was like, okay, that was it.
Yep.
You know,
I had an open door policy with my kids had like 1,750 square feet space for themselves, big, huge rooms, a living room, and even a kitchen and bathroom. And so very often I took kids in that were having problems at home. And sometimes I actually got to counsel the parents and the children. Sometimes the parents were just so happy to see them somewhere else, they didn't give a damn. And you know, many a time a kid with a black eye or a problem at my place, and it was it they just wanted to be heard. They just wanted to know that someone cared. That and one of the shocking thing is with one of the kids is that I tried to find out more rights for this kid, and he didn't have any. You know, not unless you could really prove a great deal of abuse, and the emotional abuse didn't count. And so we really do have to look at our laws. We really do have to look at our situation. We can't wait for a child to be dead before we step forth and
But I
do
think we
something.
always have to take action. I mean, I
Yes.
remember standing there, I think you know my personality now,
Yeah.
because he didn't dare. If he had said something to me, oh, when I had something to say to him,
Yeah.
he didn't dare say a word. He just watched his daughter pack her bag, and that was it. And she came to our house and
Right.
stayed with us until an aunt could come and get her.
Mm-hmm.
But that was it. She was that was it. I was like, I was not going to walk away and pretend
No.
I didn't know that was going on. And it's something. This is the kind of character also that Lori Leak is.
Yeah. Yeah.
So she's going to be honest, and she's going to be straightforward, and she's not going to stand for that which is wrong, which I am so blessed to have the opportunity to write these books, to be able to put this out there, and to be able to have children learn,
Yeah.
and even their adults learn from the example of Lori Lee, which is how she is. She is me, and how I've lived my life. I've been able to have this remarkable, wonderful life that, I mean, I'm looking forward to so many adventures to come.
And that's the beauty of it. A lot more adventures to come. And when is this book coming out, love?
We have scheduled it to be released on May 11th of this year.
Excellent.
So it is on pre-order right now. You can pre-order it
And
on,
where do they go to do that?
they can do that on the website, on the Lori Leak website, LORILEAK.com. On the Lori Leak website, in there, there's a pull down there for pre-ordering the book. I will make sure that you have another couple of links where there's a couple of places where they can do the pre-order, and then they will be the first to receive them.
Right. And of course, you have your midlife opportunity, your counseling and
I
etc. that
have
you've done.
I have a book. It's actually getting ready to be retitled to just Opportunity, and it is about the early midlife time between the late 30s and early 40s. It's called Midlife Opportunity right now. It's going to be a little bit revised and updated and be called Opportunity. I also have, of course, there's Lori Leak Travels to Paris and Lori Leak Travels to Copenhagen. Those books are out. And I also have a murder mystery book that I wrote a few years ago, and I'm actually about to put a new cover on that and put that out. And it's actually based on a true story.
Mm.
Um,
Mm.
the cover is a little spooky.
Ooh, ooh, love it,
So
love it.
I love writing, as I said. I mean, this pandemic has just been great. Getting my health together, getting my spiritual life together, or just making improving on everything, and getting to do more writing. Really
Yes.
getting to focus on the writing, um, rather than being overwhelmed. I've not been overwhelmed. I've been really thankful for that. Of course, I haven't had to homeschool kids and try to
Right.
work from home at the same time. So my circumstances are different. And I'm thankful for where I am. Everyone has their blessings. If you're
Yes.
single, there are certain things that are blessings and other things that are not. And if you've got kids, same thing. And if you're married, same thing. You've got to take what you've got, and you have got to do well with it. I mean,
Yeah,
take it and
navigate it, in the direction that you want it to go in, and
to
it's
quote President Biden, manage the hell out of it.
exactly, because that's where it is. It's like there are some diseases you can cure and some diseases you just have to manage. And right now with this virus out there, it's plug in the common sense, be sensible, mask, distance, wash hands, and but also keep very optimistic and keep your immune system healthy. And if you're having to recreate in your own home, you work, okay, kids, mommy's working right now or daddy's working right now. this is your quiet time, or this is your creative time over here. This is now your school time. This is now our family time. And you have to be a little structured at home. And it may not be your
Right.
thing, but you've got
I
to
have a
do
cousin.
that.
I have a cousin who has 5 children, or maybe it's 6 now. Um, she had to quit her job
Hmm.
because schools were closed.
Right.
Her husband works full time. She promptly she quit her job, she took leave from it, and she set up school in their living room. She set up school, set them all up with, their chair and their desk and cardboard partitions, so they've all got
Hmm.
their desk area. That's it. They have school
Yep.
every day. She
Yep.
homeschools them, and she fully launched a home catering business. So every week she offers a wonderful meal to people, and here's the price. So,
It's called pivoting.
yes,
Just
I mean,
looking at the possibilities.
yes, I mean, you just have to go ahead and make those decisions.
Exactly.
This pandemic is happening.
Exactly.
That's it. The reality is it's happening. So here's how we're going to deal. Bip, 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 bip. We're going to follow the plan. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah,
And this is
exactly.
it. This is how we're getting through it. And you know what? As a child, you say, okay, I don't like that. But there's a plan.
Yes.
But you still go along with the plan. You mean, let
And
off.
plans can adjust and plans can change,
Right.
and this
But
is where we have
there's a
family
plan.
meetings, yeah.
There's the security in that
Yeah.
for children. I mean, the security in that is really great. I mean, I know that, like, I haven't had the shock yet, and I'm not sure when from what I understand, it could be anywhere between April and the end of July that I'm able to get a shot,
Hmm.
first shot. So, okay, that's it. So what do I do in the meantime? I keep myself isolated, and I keep myself busy.
Yes.
I'm not sitting here bemoaning the fact that I'm in sunny California and I can't be in a shopping mall all up on everybody else shopping constantly, and that I can't be in a bar every night drinking and blowing my breath on people and other people
Right.
blowing their breath on me, and
Yeah.
we're just having a little super spreader event over a cocktail.
Yeah.
I have absolutely no interest in that
Mhm.
at all. So I'm taking care of myself. So when this is all really totally over, the date in my mind that I have set is June 2022. That's my hit the road,
Right.
really hit the road, go traveling and get out there. That's my life back to
Yeah.
normal date in
And
my head.
from I've had a few predictors on, and they've kind of worked with the cosmos, and we're going to go through this transition for another 4 years, because there's no going back to normal. So we're going through this transition of change, because this is also what COVID is about. It's about change as humanity, stepping more into compassion, more into collaboration, understanding the people that are really keeping things going for us, and less power to the CEOs and their greed and their opulence, and
I
looking at more the
I
level
I
playing
hope for
field.
that, Sarah. I hope for that.
Yeah,
But
we're already seeing it. We're already seeing it.
I
And the
mean, but
pivoting that is
Amazon,
happening is
can you say,
wonderful.
are we seeing it with Amazon? The guy gave,
No, I mean the thing is you've still got your big players out there, but what we're doing is that shift to where the appreciation is. The shift is to, I mean, I'm seeing it with all the shows that I've done, the pivoting, the changing
cool.
directions, the gratitude, but also people are awakening. As I said, the universe came to wake us up, to shake us up,
Well, I'm
to step
hoping the
up, change
people
it
are
up, and
waking up.
grow up. And we are having to grow up to a higher frequency. We are having to change it up. There is no normal to go back to. It was dysfunctional. So it's going to take that another 4 year period for a different paradigm to happen. And the only way it's going to happen is if we step up to make it happen. That's what it's.
I'm really hoping. I'm not pessimistic about the future, but I'm not focusing on these people who have been doing things they shouldn't do. I'm not focusing on them making any change. I'm
No,
focused on what is the change that I can be, that
exactly.
I can do, that
Yes.
I can make.
And if each one of us look at how can I contribute to the solution and not be the problem? I look at my life and I made these choices, I made those choices. You know what? They're not serving the planet. They're not serving humanity. They're not serving me. How do I shift and change? And what practices do I need to do? What environment do I need to be in? What verbiage do I need to be speaking in order to take this action? So each and every one of us right now is invited to look at our own lives. And that was the gift of COVID too. I'm not demeaning all the people that have lost their lives or families, but for those that have survived or that have been on lockdown, it was a gift of time to reflect, to review, to renew, and to come at it from our heart and souls and compassion and lead with that and educate ourselves on that, not the hysteria, not the fake news or the any other news. It is from the heart. If every single one of us ignited our heart and stepped in and did things from the heart, we are going to not only see our own lives better, but the lives of everybody around us better. And that ripple effect will happen. So this is the
Yes,
invitation right now.
I think we can use COVID in a positive,
Mm-hmm.
way. I know there are people, especially in the religious, Christian religious conservatives, who uh, want to say that God's punishing us and all this kinds
Right.
of things. God doesn't do these kinds of things.
No,
No,
God is love.
this is,
The-
yeah.
all
And God,
that other hate
you
rhetoric
know,
is the
and
human
so much stuff
condition.
that we do as human beings, we
Yeah,
like to blame on God when it's
yeah.
a result of our things.
No, no, that's
God
our
did not
choice, not
cause that.
God's.
God did not cause that Arctic winter
Nope,
storm.
no,
Okay,
no.
that was us
Yes,
messing around with the climate and mucking up the environment.
yes.
I really do believe, again, I'm really, it's funny because I was thinking so much even this morning that I really want to change so many lives by bringing, I'm really hoping for the next 20 to 25 years to keep bringing these older foster kids through and
Yes.
getting them a home and changing their life in that way so that they are able to then go out there. I want to see, I want to be used
Mm,
in that sense to
yeah,
be able and see that effect multiply. Because if I can end up taking 5, 10, 20, 30 kids over that period of time through having a home and knowing somebody loves them and that they are someone, they're going to go out there and they're going to change the world. And in that way, I get to change the world through
exactly.
all of them.
Yeah.
So I'm
You're being that
really,
core mama of love.
yes,
And that
yep.
basis, that
You can call me
flame of
Mama Bear.
love, right? That flame of love will ignite their own hearts and they'll follow their own path, heart driven. And whatever advancements and changes they have, they always know it came from the core and they know they can always come back to the core.
Right. I mean, how many of them, just need someone to give them that stability so they can go out there and be a great musician, a great
Right.
artist, a
Yes.
great chemist,
Yeah.
a great biologist, a great ballet dancer, a great actor,
Oh, just a great human being.
a great CEO who
Yeah.
treats their employees
Mm,
with humanity.
yeah. Dignity. Yes.
It's,
Respect. All of that.
yes, and pays them
Yes.
properly.
Uh-huh.
I mean, so who knows?
Equally.
Yes, yes, you should follow Dan Price Seattle on Twitter. His name is Dan Price, and he goes by Dan Price Seattle. He is the CEO of Gravity Payments, and some years back, not too far, I think it's within the last 10 years, he decided to begin paying all his employees, receptionists on up, $70,000 a year. He cut his $1 million paycheck
Excellent.
and took 70,000, and he's paying, so everybody the 70,000. I think it's like all the new people coming in, but basically everyone got equalized, so they got brought up, if they were there, so that everyone could afford to live,
Yes.
so that he said, and Harvard uses his company now as a study, Harvard Business School, and I mean, checking in on the workers, the employees. Since he did this, they've paid off their student loans.
Yeah.
They've saved money. They've decided to have kids because they could afford them. Before they actually decided there were to be no children because there was no way they could afford on 35,000 a year. They could not afford to live or produce life.
Yeah.
So imagine what a wonderful CEO like that, if that's replicated. So
Yes.
who knows? One of these foster kids that that I take in and if they want to be adopted again to have the home. That I mean, I can just be that springboard for them out into changing the world.
And we know that it is our future kids with the way they're looking at things, their wonderful intuitiveness, because they're born differently. They're born already connected to soul and heart, and they're not losing that. And we need to nurture that even more. And they will be our solution. We see so many Armageddon movies at the end of the world and end of humanity. And it's like, well, how about we actually save this world instead of condemning it? And how about we actually save each other? And how about we actually treat each other with more respect and more love? We won't need to be going, we can explore other worlds, but not to go and destroy as we've destroyed Earth, but to turn around with the appreciation of what we got, the gift of this planet,
Yeah,
the gift of who we
so
are.
we are so when I watched the rover landing on Mars,
Mm,
we have the ability to do such wonderful things, to
incredible.
show such intelligence in this world, to create rather than to destroy.
Yes.
And I wish that that was so exciting. One time my father took us to Florida and um, we watched the liftoff.
Mm,
We were just outside the field. I can tell you, I remember to this day the sky when you're that close
yeah.
to the shuttle taking off, it turns purple.
Mm-hmm.
It turned purple. It was amazing. You know, we can do such wonderful things. We have such abilities as human beings. And really, I want to invest in children for
Yes.
them to be able to continue that, to
Yeah.
do that, to
They
make
are
this
our
world
future.
to make
Yeah.
this world a better place.
Right.
And
And the
that can
thing,
sound hokey to people,
no, 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 no.
but
It's necessary. It's imperative. And the thing is about technology and humanity. Technology is not our enemy. Technology is going to help humanity advance, not in a way that we don't need to be this or that anymore. I mean, that's people say robots. We don't want robots, but you've already got one. You've already
yes,
become a slave to the cell phone. But the thing is, when you start looking at the technologies and what doors they open up for us, what possibilities are out there for us, it shows us how we can actually grow and advance even more, because we're limited in the human flesh, but technology allows us to do things and eliminate those limitations. Well, my
yes,
dear, we could carry on talking forever, but I think it's time, to call it a
yes,
day here, and we'll have to have you back again. Now, people can go to selfdiscoverymedia.com and just put in your name, Barrett. I'm just going to do Barrett Powell, as make it a little easier for people to find. And they will find all of your shows that you've done with us here, going right back to the bathroom stall one to this latest one. And they can come and listen to all of the shows. And, the first book, Laurie Leak, where we discovered there. And I'll be certainly having you back again with all the other books that are going to be coming out. But, just keep on inspiring, keep on illuminating children's imaginations. The thing is, as you illuminate that child into believing they can, they're now going to look to their parents and say, I can. And the parents are going, you know what? Yes, you can. The parents need the tutorial. The parents need to believe their children can, because they're just saturated with everything you can't do. But when there's a book there and a child believes they can, then the parents start believing they can too. And they become more supportive. which is what we want to see. So keep on writing for us. So it's laurieleak.com. What other site can they get a hold of you at?
There's my main site, which is www.barrettcpowell.com, Barrett C. Powell.com. And there as actually, my children's books are part of the Girl Power,
Mm-hmm.
and that site, barrettcpowell.com, is where they will find the RISE program that I am actually still putting finishing touches on, but you can still join. This is for women to build resilient businesses and lives. I work with women on building resilience.
Yeah. And you know what? We've been talking about the children and the possibilities of the future, but it's never too late for you. It doesn't matter what age you are. Bring that childlike wonderment out in you. Be adventurous and believe you can. If something is driving you, if there's a passion driving you, there's something you really want to do, what's standing in your way? And maybe it's just knowledge on how to do it, strategy and how to do it. You just maybe need a kick up the butt and to go and do it. But the whole point is, don't let your own age get in the way of fulfilling a dream or believing something's possible.
Very true.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Can't wait for Laurie Leak, San Diego to come
I'm
out, and
I'm so
Washington.
excited.
Yes.
So I hope that everyone will pick up the book, get the first two books, and get
Yes.
yourself ready to
Yes.
be able
Build the
to,
library.
yes,
Yeah.
start building that library so you have the books from the beginning.
Yeah.
And then I can tell you, when I get to like finish with book 5, then I'll probably actually put them all together in one volume,
Mm-hmm.
and then start on the next.
Yeah.
But start reading and start
Yeah.
enjoying. I mean, I'm using my gift of communicating, my gift of writing, my gift of speaking, but in particular, my gift of writing, to be able to uplift people, that building bridges between people and across cultures. That's what I'm here for until the day that I'm gone from this earth. 112, God, I've said 112. Until the day that I'm gone, I am going to be doing that, just helping to build people up in every single possible way that I can. So yeah, I'm on a mission, and
Mm-hmm.
no one will stop me. I am
No.
on a mission.
No.
I am on fire.
Yeah.
Lori Leak, more power to her. Yes. Black girl magic, girl power. Yes.
Exactly. Nothing should hold you back. Not your color, your creed, your sexuality, your
Nothing.
finances, your emotional. Nothing shall hold you back. We are meant to propel forward. And society is going to put this condition and dampening and barriers in our way. And all we need to do is just take some proverbial dynamite to that and say, no, nothing is holding me back. Where there is a will, there is a way. And I have a passion and a desire, and I'm going to follow it and I'm going to do it. And that's that.
Yes. Keep going. You know your path. Keep going. Just, in your mind, there is no obstacle.
No, no,
Just keep going.
no. If
Just
that
just
road is closed,
just keep moving.
change lanes, go down a different road,
Yeah.
right? Create your own road.
How are you seeing your life? How are
Yes,
you visualizing it? I mean, if you just keep moving, and it doesn't matter. Whatever else is thrown in there, is thrown across your path, whether it's that, it just dissipates,
yeah,
because you just keep going. You stay on your path. You keep going, no matter what. That's exactly what I've done. That's how these Lori Leak books have come through. In
yes,
fact, I would say yes. I mean, in the midst of severe adversity, I have put these books out.
yes, yes,
In the midst of severe adversity, I have put these books out,
yeah,
and they will continue to be produced, because you know what? There's nothing that I can't do. There's nothing Lori Lee can't do.
right.
Nothing you can't do.
And there's so many more experiences for Laura Leak to have and share with the rest of us. So Thank you so much, love. It's been great having you back here again.
You're welcome.
Remember, folks, it's up to us. You know, every single one of us has the ability, doesn't matter what the age is. And Laurie Lee has a way of showing us how to actually get engaged with life and its wonderment and explore and take away those expectations and limitations. Yes, we can have structure. Yes, we can have management, but we should always be living in wonderment of what else is out there because life is so very exciting. Until next time, bye for now. We hope that you enjoyed the show. You will hear many shows here on selfdiscoverymedia.com. We have new shows for you out every week. Just find them on our podcast or What's New. If you feel that you have something to share that makes a difference in the lives of others, or you too feel that you could be a host, please contact me at info@selfdiscoverymedia.com and we will be glad to speak with you. Have a wonderful day.